I'm Marta Jara. I'm the president of ANCAP, the Uruguayan National Oil Company.
Perfect. Marta, very happy to have you here with us today. One of the most sort of present questions for ANCAP today is, as a state enterprise of Uruguay, what are your top strategic priorities for the next 12 months?
Maybe I start with the long-term strategy, and that drives us to what are our priorities in the shorter term. But we are mainly a downstream company. We have some exploration, but we are in a country that is really at the forefront of energy transition. So we are very aware of that, and we want to harness that opportunity. So we are state-owned, but we are also one of the biggest enterprises in Uruguay. So we think we need to be a little bit the pace setters of this transition and of the industry transition in general. So we are focusing on Industry 4.0 to really embrace it as a way to introduce efficiencies that allow us to manage the life cycle of our assets. We need to be more efficient and make sure we use the existing infrastructure in a very efficient way. We depend on hydrocarbons imports, and we have legacy assets that we will need to, at some point, decommission or recycle into a biorefinery or processes like that. So we are focusing on this, introducing efficiencies by Industry 4.0, IoT, and so forth, and then starting to harness the ownership we have of the customer interface in bringing new propositions and into mobility especially. We have a hydrogen pilot that we want to develop in the shorter term. So for the year ahead, let's say, the key projects are one for IoT. It's about connecting devices for reliability and maintenance. It's also about connecting people. We are connecting wearables in order to manage safety, procedures, permit to work, all these type of things. And we are transitioning people into also new profiles. We have an old population, so we are using this opportunity to introduce new ways of working for the new generations. And then our flagship project is the green hydrogen pilot project. And that is in cooperation with a utility. It's also a state-owned enterprise. We have almost 100% renewable energy matrix on the generation side. So that opens the door for a huge opportunity to use the surpluses we have that need to be curtailed or exported to the neighboring countries. We want to use that to produce green hydrogen by electrolysis. We hope to be able to award to a technology partner this project in the next 6 months or so. We are quite advanced, and it's focused for long haul and heavy duty vehicles, which batteries are not the answer for them. So we're really looking forward to that. It will allow us to advance in this transition into the transport sector, which is the remaining part that we are still depending on oil.
Okay, so energy transition is definitely a buzzword for South America Assembly, and something I hear maybe every day when I do interviews or speak to people. Why is it important for Uruguay and for ANCAP?
I think it's important for the planet, for a start. And I've been working in this industry for almost 3 decades, and I see the pace of the acceleration of the transition happening. I think the new generations are demanding answers from us, and we now have the technology available. Costs are coming down. Our project, for instance, we are targeting diesel parity for our customers, and with the generation reality we have, we are pretty much there in order to achieve that. So I think it's the imperative of our time. It's the biggest challenge we have in this century. And we need to work now for the future generations.
Perfect. So slightly tougher question for you. A few players here in the South America Assembly with us perceive Uruguay as a little bit of a saturated market, quite mature. What would you say to companies who potentially have some skepticism about Uruguay or interested in looking into Uruguay as the next investment opportunity?
You're talking about renewables, I understand, or about the energy in general. Okay, we still have opportunities in exploration for hydrocarbons. And with the current oil price environment, we know it's difficult because it's a basin that hasn't had any discoveries. On the renewable side, as you said, from the supply side, it seems to be saturated for quite some while, but there's a lot of opportunities to explore and advance on the demand side, everything that has to do with smart grids, storage, and managing the demand, and you know, advancing in decarbonizing sectors like transport, as I said.
Right, so going to the upstream opportunities, there were some bid rounds in the past that we were aware of in Uruguay. What are the next milestones for upstream opportunities in Uruguay?
We changed from bid rounds to a new mechanism which has the same advantages in terms of transparency, and the terms are known. We publish our contracts. But then we have an open door system where this is evergreen, and companies can come and place their bids every 6 months. This is open, and we have some interested parties that we might have some awards in the short term. We had in the past very successful bid rounds. It was a different oil price, but all the majors have been there, and I would like to mention that because in a way, it demonstrates the rule of law, the confidence in the country. We still hold the deepest well record in the world that was drilled in 2016, close to 4,000 meters of water depth. And that talks about the ability, you know, to pull off a project, the infrastructure, the institutional frameworks. So we still welcome investors that want to explore, and we are trying to offer competitive conditions for that. We've seen in Argentina, for instance, success in the offshore bid rounds. So we think there might be chances that investors are coming again and try their luck in our basin.
Wonderful. And finally, so on the renewable side, what is a top opportunity in Uruguay that you see right now?
I think the green hydrogen project is a project that is not only driven by ANCAP. It's got the sponsorship of the ministry. It's got the participation of the electric utility, which has already agreed an adequate tariff to make it possible and be able to offer fleet owners something that is competitive to diesel. So I think this is really important because it would be a head start in the region. And if you look around the world, this is a technology that is not yet fully mature. And I think first movers always have an advantage. And I think, you know, the scale of Uruguay, it's a perfect showcase to make this type of things happen in a successful way, as it has been demonstrated by the wave of renewable generation that has grown in the past 5 years.
Well, Marta, thank you so much for your insights. It seems like Uruguay is really a pioneer of certain trends in the industry, and I hope you get to share this with a lot of companies in the networking today. And thank you for your personal story as well. So thanks a lot.